Have you ever wondered why how to overcome procrastination tips don't seem to work if you've been through narcissistic abuse or emotional manipulation? In this video, I want to explain why they don't work as well as give you tips that do. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Michele. I'm a life coach and I'm dedicated to helping people to break through their subconscious programming so that they can become their authentic self. If that's a topic that you find interesting, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon because I put videos out every week. Okay, so let's get started. Why don't those tips help? Recently, I went on YouTube and I was looking up how to overcome procrastination to really look at what the most common tips are that are out there. And I went on a video that had millions of views. I figured, okay, this is the video I want to look at. And it gave 3 tips. I'm going to tell you what those tips were. The first tip was to look at whatever goal you've been procrastinating about, look at it and break it down into smaller steps. And then as you reach each small step, make sure to reward yourself. Okay, it's a good goal. Second tip was when you're looking at those smaller steps, start with the ones that you like the most or what appeals to you the most about, moving in the direction of that goal or what were the easiest, okay? And then the final tip was to do whatever you had to do to keep your focus on that goal and to avoid distractions. To be honest, those are really good tips. When you start with something easy, and you're focused on what you're doing and you're rewarding yourself with those small steps, it creates momentum. And that's awesome. Then you start going and you start feeling good and you accomplish your goal. But it doesn't work for people that have been through emotional manipulation, and I'm going to explain why. So if anyone hasn't gone through psychological abuse or hasn't been raised by a toxic parent, then their belief system isn't working against them when they attempt those goals. But if you have been through psychological abuse and you have been raised with toxic parents, you have a belief system that has been compromised. The goals that I mentioned, they address what goes on in our conscious mind, right? Our conscious mind learns by watching a video. Our conscious mind learns by reading a book. Our conscious mind can learn by hearing or seeing a different person's perspective. But our subconscious mind is run by our belief system. And no matter how much we learn on a conscious level, our subconscious programming is always running the show. So what's the number one belief that most people have when they've undergone narcissistic abuse or emotional manipulation, if they have complex PTSD or have codependency? That number one belief that they have is, I'm not worthy. Or, following right on its heels, is, I don't deserve this good thing or this positive thing in my life. Those are the beliefs that have been planted in your subconscious mind by toxic people. The subconscious mind doesn't learn by watching a video. The subconscious mind doesn't learn by reading a book. The subconscious mind is a habit mind, and it learns through consistency, through the everyday little things we do that either strengthen or weaken our belief system. And that's why those beliefs are so strongly rooted within, because the toxic person in your life consistently made sure on a daily basis that you felt unworthy, unlovable, not good enough, or undeserving of anything better. Okay, I don't want to discourage you so that you think, oh, well, great, all hope is lost. No, that's not the case. That's not what I'm trying to get at. I just want to help you to understand why it's hard to overcome these things and why those tips don't work. So what do you need to do in order to overcome procrastination, and what tips really work? So tips that really work and what have helped me in my life are tips that include the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And we're going to do an exercise together today. If you're battling or you have been battling procrastination for a long time, get out a piece of paper. And we're going to do this exercise together. Okay, so the first question I'm going to ask is, what belief keeps you in procrastination? What is the belief that prevents you from overcoming it? I know I gave you the most common ones, but that doesn't mean that everyone has that same limiting belief. One person's limiting belief might be different from another person. So the first thing is to understand what has been put inside of you by a toxic person that is keeping procrastination alive in your life. Now you know the belief, right, in your subconscious programming. The next question to ask yourself, what actions do I take or not take on a daily basis that keep that limiting belief alive? What are the things you're doing? What are the thoughts you have that keep that belief alive? Take a moment and write it down. Now you're going to ask yourself, what belief do I need to have in order to break out of procrastination? In order to heal from this procrastination, what belief would I need to have? So obviously, if your belief was, I'm not worthy, then the belief, I am worthy, I am valuable, would be the belief that you would need. So take a moment to think about what belief, and it could be a few different beliefs. What beliefs do you need in order to break out of procrastination? The next question is designed to give your subconscious mind a map to what you need to do in order to overcome procrastination. Okay? The next question is to give your subconscious mind a map to what is needed in order to strengthen this new belief. Okay? So you want to ask yourself, actually before you ask yourself, you want to visualize your life. Take a moment to ask yourself, take a moment to imagine that you already have this new belief. Would it change would it change your facial expressions? Would it change how you dressed, how you looked externally? Would it change what you did throughout the day? Take a moment to visualize it. And then ask yourself, what actions, thoughts, behaviors would I be doing differently that I'm doing now that would strengthen this new belief? Or that would show that this belief was a reality in my life. What would I be doing if this was my belief? Now, with this part, be as descriptive as possible. Write down to the tiny little things that you would be doing differently if this was already a belief in your life. Once you do that, you are now showing yourself and your subconscious mind the actions that would prove that new reality. Now, here's where consistency is important, okay? So here's where we're going to combine some of those tips here's where we're going to combine some of those tips here's where we're going to combine some of the tips that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, okay? Take a look at your list and find the smallest, easiest things on your list that would prove to you that that new empowering belief was a reality. Make it your goal every day. This is the important part. Our subconscious mind learns by habit. It doesn't learn because one day we do everything on that list and then we never do anything again. No, it learns because each day we do the easy things, the one or two little easy things, and then after time we add a couple more things, and so after a long period of time we have evidence of this new reality. And that's what our subconscious mind needs to see in order to believe that that really is your belief. So you might be thinking, wow, in order for me to overcome procrastination, I have to work so much harder than somebody that hasn't been through narcissistic abuse. And you're right. You're right. Unfortunately, we do have to work harder because somebody infiltrated our subconscious programming. And they were so consistent that it hardwired things into us that should never have been there in the first place. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. It doesn't mean that it's overwhelming for us to remove those hardwired beliefs. But it does require effort and consistency. I hope these tips helped, and I would love to hear from anyone that tries this exercise and they try to put it into practice in their life. Make sure you let me know how it goes in the comment section below.